Good day, all you happy hookers. It looks like we're doing a boat ramp review at Griffin Marina Park in Dania Beach with access to the Intercoastal Waterway, offshore big water via Dania Cut. We're in Broward County. We're going to take a left on Griffin Road to 30th Avenue, and we're going to get to it. This boat ramp is pretty low-key. It's not really meant for big-time family excursions and such, but you're going to see a lot of interesting little issues associated with this ramp. So it's going to be up here on the right-hand side, just before the bridge. It's a really tight turn in, and you'll want to make sure that you at least take your time, know where this entrance is. You don't want to pass it up, and you don't want to hot rod into this entrance. As you'll see here, we're going to take this right-hand turn. And if there's another boat coming out and you're coming in, you can probably guess this is really challenging to navigate with a lot of truck and trailer traffic. You'll see it's real narrow. There's a lot of trees and such, so anything that's really long or really tall is going to have a bit of a challenge getting into this ramp, just getting to the ramp. So this little corridor here is pretty narrow, low bridges, low trees, all that good stuff. And as we approach, you'll notice that it is a single ramp with two sides that can be utilized at one time. The turnaround area here to maneuver is a little tight. If you've got a small, tiny boat, you know, a little 15, 20-foot boat, single axle, you're going to be all right. It's the double axle, triple axle guys that are going to have some problems. So it does have a little bit of guest parking. There's not a whole lot, and there's not really a whole lot of parking spaces. I'll get into that in a little bit. You can see on the left-hand side here, there's a little dock space and such. This is a steep ramp. If you don't have a 4x4, you may not want to utilize this with a larger boat. Smaller boats is okay, but the guy that had this tandem axle was struggling to get it out with a two-wheel drive. The ramp is long, the water's deep, but the only challenge is I have no idea where the drop-off is at, and you can absolutely hook a back wheel over that drop-off in this ramp, but I'm fairly certain it's pretty long. It's a pretty long stroke before you get to that drop-off. This is the staging dock. The staging dock is fairly accessible. As you can see, it's wheelchair accessible, which is really nice. And it's a pretty current construction. Access to the Intercoastal and Big Blue Water that-a-way. So here you can see it's side by side. It's fairly wide. Two boats can fit in here pretty easily. But again, it is steep, and you're going to need to get to that staging dock if you want to embark and disembark with relative ease. Otherwise, you're going to be diving off the high dive there to get to your deck. Plenty of cleats, really firm and well kept dockage, which is nice. So again, I can't see where that drop off is at, but the water's deep enough to where I'm not really overly concerned about it. So that guy with that tandem axle was doing a pretty good job. He wasn't in any problems. So. Now again, when you're pulling out, you got everything loaded up, you're hauling out. You can see that when on the weekends, this thing can get stacked up and can get real tricky. There are some trash receptacles there, which is really nice. And one of the bigger problems, this thing only has 10 parking spaces. So on the weekends, this thing gets packed up. If you're not one of the first 10, you ain't parking. Or people will park on that right-hand side there, causing cluttering up the parking lot and really challenging everybody. Also, people stage in that area to do their final lockdowns and such. So here we're headed out, and as we're headed out, you can see that this thing is narrow again on the way out. Any amount of traffic coming in and out of here is going to be problematic, so there's plenty of headaches associated with it. So how many headaches are associated with this boat ramp? We've got one ramp with two sides. That's one big old headache. We've got long and deep. That's good. Big boats is no-go. 10 parking spaces, no bathrooms, no bait or food. So I'm calling this one 4 flat trailer tires. That's how we're going to rank this this boat ramp. So thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate you hitting that like button. Please subscribe, and I'll do my very best to make sure you have another fine day full of fun and adventure.